Hello, everyone, and welcome again to a different session in the Incoming Global Volunteer National Education Cycle, which is the exchange standards. I cannot begin to emphasize just how important this is when it comes to IGV and what we are doing. Remember, I have said at the base of what we do as ISEC, whether be IGV, be OGV, be board development, be talent management, customer centricity is at the center of what we do. Customer centricity is basically at the center of every single thing that every company does. So the ISEC exchange standards are a very key process in what we do. I may be sipping on some water because guys, recording these videos is not easy. Anyway, so let's just begin by understanding what exactly is a standard. So a standard basically is a level of quality. So our exchange standards are basically that, basically like a level of quality to our program, so that all EPs, like all exchange participants across all projects that we have across the 114 countries that we run ISEC, are going through the same process. They're undergoing the same level of quality experience. So here is just a simple diagram of the customer flow, which we went through in two videos from this one, and against the membership, not the membership experience standards. Sorry, I'm bringing TM into this, but the exchange standards. There are 16 standards in total. That's something you should know from that slide. So remember, for the customer flow, we have attraction, consideration, preparation, experience, and post-experience. The standards begin from the preparation stage. So from that stage, be very conscious of what you're doing and ensure that it aligns with the standards and what is required. So first is, so we have these standards that are under the preparation stage. I will not go through all in depth right now because we will break them down in the upcoming slides. In the experience standards, we have this number of slides. There are 7 of them. And then in the, let me just lift this. In the post experience, we have the final standard. So these are the exchange standards connected to the different sections of the customer funnel in which they are related. So what else do we need to know? I wrote a note here on the side. We are the host entity, hence are responsible for these standards. So these are the host entity standards. As I said, IGV, ISEC in Uganda, IGV, you are the host standard for an EP that comes into the country to work in any of our projects. And the host entity normally has the most number of standards. So in total, we said we have 16 standards. The host entity is in charge of, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you see, we're in charge of 12 out of the 16 standards. That's 3/4, that's 75% of the total standards we are in charge of delivering. So it's a lot of, commitment, but at the end of the day, remember, for the sake of customer centricity. So I said I will talk about complete conversion rate, like net promoter score. So basically, a complete experience is the result of an experience that is realized. Remember, an EP is realized when they come for their first day of work, and the fulfillment of at least 14 out of the 16 quality standards. So it's not just about them finishing the experience and filling the net promoter score. If we only fulfilled 10 out of the 16, it won't be counted as a complete. And I know you may be wondering, so what? They finished the experience and they've left the country. What does that have to do with us, their conversion rate, and whether we don't get a complete? That will make sense when we'll be talking about IR partnerships. So among the standards that we have, the 16, there are some standards that are referred to as non-mandatory standards. Take note, not especially of the non-mandatory ones, but especially of the mandatory ones, because those are very critical. Those can get us in a lot of trouble with the ICB and the ECB. ICB being International Control Board, ECB being the Entity Control Board. These are the boards that are there in place, independent bodies, they're in place to ensure that we are running our exchanges that are compliant with the guiding documents. But we'll not talk about that now, so I don't want to confuse anyone. But of the standards, There are 4 non-mandatory standards, but remember our aim is for completion. So for us, we aim to fulfill 100% of the standards. Of the 12 we're in charge of, let's fulfill them. And then let's ensure that we reach out to the home LC, the OGV for the EP, to ensure that they also fulfill their standards so that we get a complete experience. Sawa? Yeah, and that I just need to adjust my videos that I can be able to see everything. So let's go back a little bit. We started with the standards, right? So these are the host entity standards, and we see for us, we start at standard number 4, which is expectation setting, which is what we have started here. So the definition of this standard is that the host entity, that is us, have provided the EP with basic information regarding the country or territory of their internship. This or in a written format. Take note that it's in a written format. So make sure that this can be downscaled by your MCVP IGV Anderson, just a written document detailing this so that it can just be like a standard template. Like immediately an EP is approved, you just copy and paste it and send it to the EP. Just basic information on the culture, the political situation, safety, living standard. It's not something you have to think about. It's a template that can be downscaled, and all you have to do is send it. And so at the bottom, I won't be going through everything in this slide. Otherwise, I said this video may be too long and get too monotonous, and it loses the point of what we're doing. But at the bottom, we will see how exactly the question will be asked in the Youth Opportunity Portal, which is expert. So don't let that confuse you. They'll ask, did ISEC in host, that is us, provide or prepare with basic information for the destination you were headed? So make sure you have sent this email with expectation setting. So visa and work permit, the definition for this is that the host entity will provide an invitation letter and supporting documents in the case that a visa is needed for the EP to legally enter and stay in the country. Remember, visa support. But at the bottom, we see how the question will be asked, so take note of that. Next, we have arrival pickup. So the EP, this could entails basically, remember this is an unmandatory standard, but for us, we aim for completion. So this is a standard that we are able to fulfill. We have a driver, Asman, who coordinates like the airport pickup. Again, reach out to your LCVP IGV, and they will explain this entire process and just give you the contact of like the in-between people. So the EP is picked up by a representative of ISEC. This is very important. So before the EP then travels, the host entity and exchange participant should agree on the pickup point, and the host entity should provide written information to the EP on additional domestic transportation required to arrive at this pickup point, right? Like, for example, like basically just do proper expectation setting. Like give them as much information as you can, like who will cater for the transport fee from the airport to the house? Is it the EP from their own pocket, or will be ISEC cater for it? You know, things like that. Just make sure the lines of communication are clear. So accommodation, this defines where the EP will be staying. It must contain at least ensure, remember this is a mandatory standard, it's very key. So the EP must get at least a single bed, access to clean water, a bathroom, and electricity. Those are just the bare minimum. Then we come to the incoming preparation seminar. So this is done once the EP arrives and before the internship starts. So that time period. Immediately they arrive, but before they start. So it will contain at least the following: space to follow up on the personal goals of this party of EP, the culture, take them through the culture. You know, maybe there are things that they shouldn't say when they're in this country. And also what are the living standards, like how much will they need to sustain themselves for a week? Though this should be done before they come, with expectation setting that they come in to the country with enough money to sustain them for the period that they will want to stay in the country. Remember, again, this is mandatory. So again, I will link these slides so that you can go through them again. Like with the exchange standards, you can't go through this video and be like, okay, now I'm a guru with exchange standards. You need to review. All right, and then we have the first day of work. So this is basically the IGV, the host entity, basically us coordinating and ensuring the EP is physically brought to the place of work for their first day of internship. You know, because they're new to the country, we just support them, make sure they get to the first day of work and have a sit down with the opportunity provider, that is a person with whom we have started a project with, in which now the EP is volunteering in, so that they can just have a sit down and discuss how they want the internship to look like. The next is alignment space with opportunity provider. So this, I have gone ahead of myself. Getting them to the first day of work is one thing, and then now they need to align with the opportunity provider, which is something I'd already explained, so I don't feel the need to repeat this. Number 11, we have the job description. Job description is very important because at the end of the day, even you yourself, when you're done with this national education cycle and you officially become a member, your direct team leader will take you through your job description so that you understand what exactly is expected of you. So that's also something that is very key for us when it comes to exchange participants. So ensure that here, the key thing is to ensure that the job description defined on Expa aligns with the job description that they have right now. And in case anything changes, take note of that. In case there are any changes, make sure they are communicated and agreed upon with the EP. Don't surprise them on that day. It's like, okay, so we said this, but then now this is happening. You get? Remember, our aim is complete, and this is a mandatory standard. And it's a very tricky standard, so be very careful with that. Number 12 is the working hours. So the working hours related to executing the JD, job description that is, are the same as stated on the opportunity on ISEC.com. Taking a minimum of, so for global volunteers, this is what we're focusing on, a minimum of 25 hours and a maximum of 45 hours per week. Then we have the duration. Remember, this mainly encompasses the fact that a global volunteer experience should range between 6 weeks to 8 weeks. And then the opportunity benefits. So this basically encompasses the fact that, for example, if we said on Expa that the EP will be provided with 2 meals a day, we have to make sure that we fulfill that. You don't get to the project and then we're like, okay, we don't have money for 2 meals a day, you only get 1 meal a day, okay? Yeah, that's basically what you state on Expa, ensure you provide it to the exchange participants. The other is departure support. The EP is done with their experience. They are about to leave. We don't just let them go like that, okay? So we support them in terms of if they need any written form, we have offered them a written format on how to depart the country with legal and logistic specifications at least 2 weeks before the end of the internship. So here we have just talked about why we deliver the standards. We had really talked about this. They are universal and they ensure that EPs across the 114 countries running ISEC get quality experience, higher percentage conversion rate from finished to complete. Remember, an EP is finished once they complete the duration of time that they were here. If it's 6 weeks, they're done with the 6 weeks, but they only become a complete. It only becomes a complete when they feel the net promoter score on Expa and we have fulfilled 14 out of the 16, at least 14 out of the 16. And the good record will come in handy when you're looking for IR partnerships, because there are countries that will look at what is your conversion rate from finished to complete, so that they see the quality of experience that you are giving to the exchange participants. The other is the standards delivery are audited by the Entity Control Board. So in case that does not make sense right now, it will by the end of this national education cycle. Failure to comply could lead to the entity activity being frozen. It's very sensitive. So just simple call to actions. Just check, does your LC have an exchange standards tracker? You can check with your LCVP, and let your LCVP, if you don't have a standards tracker, reach out to your MCVP and have one downscaled, have one sent to you. And next, like I said, if not, make a copy of the standards tracker below. I said below, but we have not gotten the link yet, but your MCVP is working on one. So you can reach out to him and get this. So thank you so much. I know this, the exchange standards can be a very sensitive topic. So in case you need to reread the slides, they are linked in the description box in case you need to rewatch the video. Have no shame. The standards are very tricky and it's a lot to understand for a new member and even for an old member, but still we are so proud of you. Remember to take the quiz and I will see you in the next video.